Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to break down one of the most useful tools you'll ever learn in English, WH questions. Seriously, these things are key if you want to get real information and have much better conversations.
You know that feeling, right? You ask what you think is a great question, and all you get back is a simple yes. But what you really wanted was the story, the details, the reason why. Well, that's exactly the problem we're going to solve today.
All right, so let's jump right in. We're going to start with the absolute basics, just to make sure we're all on the same page. What exactly are WH questions?
At their heart, it's really this simple. WH questions are all about asking for information. You physically cannot answer them with just yes or no. They're designed to open the door to details, to explanations, to a real, actual conversation. So, why the name WH questions? Well, it's pretty obvious once you see it. Most of the words we use for these questions, what, where, when, who, why, they all start with W and H, simple name for a really powerful idea.
Now that we know what they are, let's meet the stars of the show, the question words themselves. Think of these like a set of keys on a keychain. Each one unlocks a totally different kind of information. And here they are. What is for things? Where? That's for places. When is all about time? Who asks about a person? And why? A why is my favorite. It gets you the reason, which is usually the most interesting part. Then you've got which for when there are choices, and how, which asks about the way something happens.
So we have the words, but how do we actually put them together to make a good question? This part is all about the structure, kind of like a recipe for building the perfect question every single time.
We're going to start with the most common formula you'll ever use. This is your go-to blueprint for asking about regular, everyday actions and habits.
Here's that recipe. It's just 4 easy steps. You start with your W word, then you add a little helper verb, do or does, then your subject, and finally, the main verb in its most basic form. Let's see what that looks like.
And here's a perfect example. Where do you live? See, we've got where, our WH word, do, the helper verb, you, the subject, and live, the base verb. It follows the pattern perfectly. Now, this is a really important detail, picking the right helper verb. The rule is super simple. You use do with I, you, we, and they, and you use does with he, she, or it. Getting this right will instantly make your English sound more natural. Here's one more, just to make sure it sticks. Why does she study English? Since our subject is she, we use does. It follows the rule, and it asks for a reason, not just a simple yes or no. Okay, now in English, there's almost always one verb that likes to play by its own rules. You guessed it, it's the verb to be. It's kind of a big deal, so it gets its own special structure. But don't worry, it's actually even easier. See, look how simple this is. It's just 3 steps. You grab your WH word, put the right form of to be, like is or are, right after it, and then you add your subject. That's it. No extra helper verb needed. For example, why is he late? We've got our WH word, why, the verb, is, and the subject, he. It's simple, it's direct, and it asks for an explanation. Perfect. Okay, so now we know what they are and how to build them, but let's get back to the most important question of all. Why are they so powerful? This is really the whole point. If you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. A WH question demands a full answer. Its entire purpose is to get a complete thought, an idea, a piece of real information. You're basically inviting the other person to share more with you. This slide shows the difference so clearly. If I ask, do you like English? I might just get yes. And that's it. Conversation over. But if I ask, why do you like English? I get a reason, because it's interesting. Now we have something to talk about. It's a total game changer. So, we're circling right back to where we started. If you ever need more than a yes or no, WH questions are your answer. They are the tools you use to dig deeper, to learn more, and to have much better conversations. All right, enough theory. The magic really happens when you practice. So I want you to take a second and ask yourself these questions. And don't just think the answer. Try to say it out loud in a full sentence. Go on, give it a shot. And that's it. You now have the keys to unlock deeper, more meaningful conversations in English. So the only question left is, what new information are you going to discover? What will you ask first?